The first blow landed with a thunderous crack that echoed through the cul-de-sac and shattered every conviction I'd held about civility in our little suburban paradise. I'd parked my pickup no more than an inch from her manicured hedge, where HOA Karen, resplendent in her custom monogrammed blazer, deemed it a mortal affront to her perfectly aligned cosmos. Her sledgehammer rose into the afternoon sun and descended with the fury of a vengeful titan, splintering my wrought iron gate like matchwood. Neighbors peered from behind their curtains, jaws slack, as the gate collapsed in a jagged heap. I felt rage ignite in my chest, red coursing through every vein. It wasn't just a gate, it was the threshold of my sanctuary, the silent sentinel guarding late-night worries and early-morning hopes. And she'd destroyed it in a fit of tyrannical pique. I refused to play her game. Instead of calling the cops, I mobilized the evidence. My friend Marcus, a former Army engineer, helped me salvage every shard of the broken metal. We documented the wreckage, took photographs from every angle, captured video of Karen's triumphant smirk before she strutted back into her property, humming her smug anthem. Next morning, I delivered a formal demand for restitution to the HOA board, complete with an invoice prepared by my contractor. I attached the evidence log, itemized costs, and a legal reference to trespass and property destruction statutes. The board chair, Mrs. Nguyen, usually pliable to Karen's overtures, was forced to reckon with cold, hard facts and an email chain that left no room for Karen's theatrical denials. A week later, the first check landed in my mailbox. But the victory tasted as hollow as her apology was insincere, a perfunctory note thanking me for my understanding. So I pivoted. That evening, I rolled up to her gate with my truck's trailer bed bristling with steel beams and composite panels. Karen's Revenge Gate Installation LLC. Read the magnetic sign peeling off my doors. A gag, yes, but impossible to ignore. I assembled a new gate, fortress grade, adorned with anti-tamper locks and an automatic camera that flashed with every trespasser. Its design channeled stark minimalism. No roses, no frills, just sleek panels and a discreet plaque declaring protected property under 24/7 surveillance. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the gate stood like an impenetrable bulwark against petty vendettas. Karen emerged at dawn, squinting at the new sentinel. Her eyes flicked to the wooden sign at its base. "Don't try me again," scrawled in my own careless handwriting. She stomped forward, fingers twitching, but paused when the camera's flash caught her reflection. The sensor's recording chirped. "Unauthorized approach detected." She rattled the handle. The gate held fast. Panic flickered in her gaze, quickly replaced by fury. That afternoon, she stormed into the HOA meeting with a hectoring tirade about my hostile architecture and bullying tactics. I listened impassively as she laid out her grievances, her voice pitched with righteous indignation. Then I unveiled the footage. Her sledgehammer strike, her triumphant saunter, every malicious grin. The room went still as a tomb. Mrs. Nguyen cleared her throat, apologized for the inconvenience, and promptly rescinded Karen's parking privileges along with a fine for her vandalism. The board decreed that my replacement gate would remain as a testament to the HOA's new zero-tolerance policy on property attacks. But the real twist came when my elderly neighbor Ruth, once too timid to speak up, revealed she'd recorded recordings of Karen commandeering HOA funds for landscaping projects on her personal estate. Suddenly, Karen's empire unraveled faster than her gate. The same board members who'd once applauded her volunteer efforts now whispered about investigations and reimbursements. Within days, Karen found herself stripped of her presidency, slapped with an exorbitant bill for misappropriated funds, and facing a formal ethics review. Her BlackBerry pivoted uncannily into a public relations nightmare as the neighborhood email chain exploded with outrage. I stood by my new gate one evening, the setting sun backlighting its brushed steel surface. It gleamed with quiet satisfactiono vindictiveness, just unyielding resolve. I raised a glass of iced tea to the horizon and whispered, "Sometimes justice rides on hinges." And in that moment, I realized the best revenge isn't built on malice, but on the unassailable right to defend what's yours. What do you think? Ye standing up for yourself, noble or unnecessarily combative? Share your take below. The weeks that followed felt surreal, as though our quiet street had been cast into a drama far more gripping than any Sunday night television. Every morning I found new evidence of Karen's unraveling. Glossy mailers from the HOA promising renewed integrity, A crisp notification in my inbox confirming the audit of last year's association finances, and whispered gossip drifting through neighborly fence-line chats. And always, somewhere in the background, the low hum of my gate's camera catching every furtive glance, every furtive attempt to close the blinds when someone spotted me on the porch. Despite the board's decision, Karen refused to depart gracefully. She launched an appeal, complete with printed diagrams arguing that my gate contravened aesthetic harmony guidelines. She commissioned a civil engineer to declare the new installation over-engineered and discordant. She even hired a lawyer who sent me a sternly worded letter demanding removal of the surveillance plaque, claiming invasion of privacy. But each missive only reinforced my documentation. The sledgehammer video, the contract invoice, the board resolutions. My responses were polite, almost cordial. Thank you for your concern. Please see attached evidence. I look forward to a swift resolution. With every exchange, the professional veneer peeled away from her outrage until what remained was raw and desperate. Then came the evening that truly sealed Karen's fate. I was hosting a small backyard barbecue, just a few friends, a couple of beers, laughter echoing off the siding. Across the street, lights flickered in the HOA clubhouse, where Karen had called an emergency meeting to rally support. I saw her through the surveillance feed. Red-faced, hair immaculate but somehow disheveled, rattling the chain of command with an almost comical fury. She accused neighbors of betrayal, of siding with a bullying homeowner. She slammed her fists on the polished conference table, sending grapes rolling across the marble surface. Her voice cracked as she threatened lawsuits and public shaming. Then records of HOA funds boldly displayed on her projector suddenly glitch, bearing a watermark. Unauthorized access detected. My friend Marcus had quietly logged into the clubhouse's unsecured network via his phone, streaming the live footage back to my screen. I watched as her arrogance tumbled into panic. The room's sudden hush spoke volumes as board members exchanged glances, taken aback by the breach. That single act of digital jujitsu exposed that Karen's prized secure governance was anything but. Within 24 hours, her email accounts were locked, her direct debit frozen, and the HOA's attorney publicly admonished her for breach of fiduciary trust. By sunrise the next day, Karen's name was stripped from the HOA website, replaced by a generic board president. Vacant. Rumors swirled. She'd been forced to repay thousands in misused fees, barred from parking in the cul-de-sac, and warned that any further trespass would incur criminal charges. I walked my dog past her house, the new gate gleaming in the early light, camera lens glinting like a watchful eye. She peered from behind her curtain, shoulders hunched, eyes hollow. There was no swagger left, only the ghost of the titan she'd once imagined herself to be. And yet, the story didn't end with vengeance alone. As word spread, neighbors began to reclaim their voices. Ruth hosted a community potluck to rebuild trust. The Martinez family organized a neighborhood watch to ensure everyone felt secure without resorting to vigilante measures. Even the HOA board invited me to speak at their first town hall of transparency, where I shared lessons learned, how clarity and documentation protect rights, how a community thrives on accountability, and how one person's stand can inspire many. I watched once reticent faces lean forward, nodding, scribbling notes, their skepticism replaced by pragmatic optimism. In the months that followed, our cul-de-sac transformed. The wooden sign at my gate's base, once a playful warning, was retired, but its message endured. A new plaque read simply, "Respect boundaries, respect neighbors." Parking disputes became a thing of the past as residents agreed on clear, fair guidelines. The HOA's finances were audited annually by an independent committee. Members volunteered for open roles, ensuring no single personality could dominate again. And whenever someone asked how it all began, I'd tell them, with a broken gate, a steadfast refusal to back down, and the belief that justice, no matter how small the stage, holds power. I still pass Karen's house on evening walks. Sometimes I catch her silhouette by the window, maybe reading a book or watering her prized hydrangeas. I offer a small nod in greeting. She does not return it, and that's fine. Our story isn't about grudges or fairy tale endings. It's about standing firm, about turning spite into structure, about reminding a community that dignity isn't granted, it's defended. So now I turn to you. When faced with injustice, no matter how petty, do you confront it head-on or seek compromise? Is the path of resolute defense noble, or does it risk fueling further conflict? Share your thoughts below.